What is your relationship with your thoughts? What kind of relationship do you have with your thoughts? Are you able to simply watch them? Are you able to observe your own mind? To observe the activity of the mind? Don't do anything, just simply watch it. And then perhaps challenge yourself by saying, I'll take a break now. I'll take a pause. And for the next minute, I will shut down the mind and shut down all thinking. Keep on watching, keep on observing. Does the mind comply to your wishes? Does the thinking comply to your wishes? I'm not saying these things to insult you, or to tease you, or to ridicule anyone, because you are not the only one. What you are able to observe is the reality for almost every human being. It is simply a result of the conditioning, the programming that has happened. The mind has been programmed. And the human being, by and large, is lost within the maze of the mind. Thinking that there are free will there and there are choices that are being taken. But all the choices is a result of the conditioning of the mind. And it happens automatically. And then if the mind doesn't get its way, doesn't get what it wants, it behaves like a little child, complaining, creating suffering for itself. It is a deep paradox. So what is your relationship with your mind? Awakening is the sudden dawning that I am able to watch the activity of the mind. And if I am able to watch the activity of the mind, that means that I am not the activity of the mind. I am that which are able to watch the activity of the mind. That is awakening. That is the simplicity of it. But see, the activity of the mind might continue. So do not expect that just because you are able to observe the activity of the mind, that the activity suddenly stops. But what you will be able to observe is that if you continue to grow the interest in observing, what you will be able to realize is that some of the activity suddenly stops. And then you will grow in curiosity, and you will start asking questions towards yourself, towards the activity of the mind. Questions like, there are certain patterns in my mind. I have recognized that. Certain patterns that seems to recreate itself again and again and again. Then you will ask the question, why? Why does these patterns recreate themselves again and again? And if you ask these questions with sufficient curiosity, you will be able to discover that behind these patterns, there are some beliefs, some deep convictions that you are subscribing to, that the mind is cherishing as its foundation. So as long as you are identified with the activity of the mind, you are a puppet. And again, I'm not saying this to insult you. It's not your fault. But there are no freedom in that. Then dive deep into these patterns and unveil those convictions, unveil those beliefs, and take a fresh look upon them and ask yourselves, are they true? And that might be hurting to ask those questions. It might be painful. In most cases, it is painful. But are they true? Where do they come from? These ideas, these beliefs. Why do I cling to those? What happened? What happens when I automatically subscribe to these beliefs? What is the result of that? Oftentimes suffering. So almost all suffering, let's call it all the unnecessary suffering, is a result of the conditioned mind and the identification with the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind is at war with reality. Liberation is to see that clearly. The conditioned mind simply wants to be God, wants to be able to dictate everything, wants to be right, wants to be certain, wants to be sure, wants to know. I know, the conditioned mind says. But no, it doesn't. It's all just theories, ideas, beliefs, competing with all the other conditioned minds' belief systems. And the funny thing is that it is actually not the beliefs, the ideas, the theories in themselves that are the problems. There are actually no problem in holding a belief, as long as you know that that is what you are doing. Then you are holding the belief more softly. It is the identification with the beliefs that creates the rigidness. And from that, all unnecessary suffering arises. So let's go back to the beginning again. What is your relationship with your thoughts? What is your relationship with your mind? Watch it. Sit down, spend hours watching the activity of your mind. Oh, you're not interested in spending hours watching it. Well, who am I to say what you have to do? It's just a suggestion. But if you do not know what is going on inside of you, how can you expect to diminish all that suffering? Are you interested in awakening? Well, it is an internal job. So sit down. You can call it meditation or you can call it whatever you want. But just simply sit quiet and observe. Then the mind says, this is boring. And it will try all the tricks to try to make you stop watching it, because it does not want to be watched. It wants to be in command. That is the way of liberation. Do not wait for some sudden insight that suddenly will liberate you. That will most likely not happen unless you are willing to sit down and watch the activity of the mind. That will transform you. That will alter your relationship with your own thoughts. Because you will come to learn that it is all mechanical and 100% automatic. Would you like to truly live before you die? Before physical death, would you like to have tried to have lived truly for the first time ever? To have experienced the miracle of existence? And not all that phony stuff the mind creates. Of course, I know that you would like to do that. But if you want to do that, you need to change your relationship with your thoughts and your mind. And the only way that you can accomplish that is to sit down and watch it. Learn about it. Learn how it jumps in constantly. How the mind constantly tries to take control of everything. How the mind judges constantly, categorizes everything. Don't try to stop the mind, just watch it so that you can learn about its activity. And then say, okay, now I will take a pause. And then watch that the mind does not comply. It is you identifying with that stream, that robot. That is what is keeping it going. And it has a momentum to it, so do not expect it just to suddenly stop. When you just sit down and watch it, you are breaking the spell. You are cutting the identification. You are learning that you are not the mind. You are learning that you are not the one that is thinking the thoughts. And that will break the identification. And from that, the path is opened towards freedom, towards liberation. Just simply sit and watch the mind.